What's good, YouTube, man? We're back with another video. Today's video is going to be a hitting tips tutorial. Now, I know what you're thinking. I know. Jojo, the game drops in 1 month. Why would you be dropping a hitting tips tutorial? That's exactly why I'm dropping it, is because you could use this last month to get better at hitting. Now, I know I could be putting out a pitching tips, but pitching is cool. Hitting is fun. So that's why we're putting out a hitting tips tutorial, how to get better, how you can utilize this last month. That way, when the game drops, you become a World Series player instantly. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why would you watch my hitting tips when you can go watch one of the top 10 guys? A lot of those guys were good as soon as they touched the sticks, man. I wasn't. Last year was my first year. I used to hit barely 300 with most players, maybe 270, 280. And now we're pushing 400 with almost every player that we play with. How am I doing that? What makes me any different? Honestly, a lot of it does stem from the same things. You're going to go to your sliders. You're going to create sliders. Me personally, I like this to be one under instead of all the way out. I like it to be right here with the fastball. Off speed, I turn it 2 notches up, not all the way up or midpoint. So then you're going to go over here. You're going to load up those sliders. I title mine BP because this is what I take BP with. You're going to make sure you have a roster. You don't necessarily have to have that, but you're going to go back to file management. Go to rosters, save rosters. I personally suggest getting rosters that, tie into DD. But hey, if you're watching this and you're a road to the show player or, anything that you're doing, you just want to be a better hitter, this pertains to all of that. So you don't necessarily need a Diamond Dynasty roster. It's just something I like to use. And then so what you're going to do is you're going to go to custom practice. I mean, that's what everybody does, right? This is how you get better, is practice. The A's have the pitchers on it on this roster. The Angels have some of the batters. Now, this isn't the best Diamond Dynasty rosters, but I personally take BP at Ship It. Now, I don't play at Ship It all the time. 9 times out of 10, when you queue into a game, most people are playing at Ship It. It has the best batters eye in the game, in my opinion. So this is where we're going to take BP at, and I'll see you once we get into custom practice. Okay, so once you get into custom practices, you're going to go over here to practice type. So practice type batting, and you're going to want to pick the batter that you want to be. I'm going to do Mike Trout. Why? Because I like Mike Trout's swing. And then you're just going to find somebody that you want to face. Do I suggest starting off raw 102 Chapman? No. I suggest, honestly, finding a pitcher who has 5 pitches, doesn't necessarily throw 102, because what we're trying to do, what I do differently from everybody else, is I like to start off on All-Star to train my eye. I don't care about timing for the first 5 minutes of BP. I typically take BP 10 to 15 minutes a day when I do play, and the first 5 minutes is spent training my eye. Not swinging on balls, not reaching on pitches, not taking bad swings. And the best way to do that is not to speed up the ball out of the hand, but to recognize where the pitch is coming from. So we're going to start off with somebody like Gagne, and we'll do this. And you're going to want to go to options, make sure on All-Star. I've already set it up. You're going to want to find the camera that works for you. I like strike zone because I can see the ball out of the hand, but at times I struggle reading the bottom of the zone. Strike zone high is my favorite camera, but for the purposes of this video, let's try strike zone. You're going to literally be going through this video with me. This is raw. I haven't played this game in weeks, so this is me raw dogging warm-ups to show you how you become a better hitter. So we're going to go strike zone on All-Star. Now remember, these first 5 minutes is just spent. You don't necessarily care about timing at all. Now, my first tip as far as becoming a better hitter is timing does matter 20 times more than PCI placement. It's weird. You would think PCI placement does matter, but it doesn't. So that's my first tip. My second tip is finding the release point of every pitcher is the most important aspect of batting. The biggest problem I see when it comes to people being late on pitches or mistiming pitches, or their PCI placement is typically bad, is one thing, and it's they're not focusing on the release point. They can't find it. Now, some pitchers are harder than others. Now, that's baseball. But the best way to get better at hitting is finding the release point. 9 times out of 10, if you're late on a pitch, it's because you're staring at this right here. You're staring at your PCI too much. What that does is you should never be staring at this. This is placebo. This is why most of the time I turn my transparency down. It's so hard to read a pitch and time it up when you're staring at this right here. This right here, the PCI and the movement of it should be secondhand nature. Now, I will be creating a whole separate video on the best PCI in the game. And there's 2 different ones, in my opinion, that you could be using based off where you're at as a hitter. But that's not what this video is about. This video is how do we time up pitches better and how do we recognize pitches out of the pitcher's hand. The first step to that is realizing that you should not ever be staring at your PCI. You've got to find the release point. So find a place that you're comfortable staring at the pitcher. So for me, it's the shoulder. I like to look at the shoulder chest area, because once the pitcher opens up, it's easy for me to transfer my eyes from there to the release. Now, some people, it's following the right arm, finding the ball, following all the way through. For some people, they like to stare eye to eye with the pitcher. Some people even like to stare back into the batter's eye where they think the release point is coming from and following it from there. Find what's comfortable, but what isn't going to help is you staring at your PCI and then trying to find the ball afterwards. That's why you're timing. If you're late 9 times out of 10, that's probably why. Think of it like this. If you're in the batter's box, are you going to be staring at your bat, swinging through on the bat path? Or are you going to just be trusting your hands, trusting your body, and you're swinging through as you're finding the ball? You're looking at that release point, you're finding the ball out of the pitcher's hands, and you're following through. You naturally know where your hands are at all times, right? When you're swinging. That's the same way you have to think of this game. The PCI isn't meant to be looked at. It's placebo, in my opinion. It's just, you kind of have to trust your thumbs. You can't stare at it. You just have to let your mind and your thumb work together to find it. Your job is to find the ball out of the hand and time it up. So first 5 minutes, we're just going to go through and find strikes, figure out where we're comfortable at, trying to make sure we're not swinging at any balls, and finding that release point for Eric Gagne, who has one of the more basic pitch releases in the game. So it's kind of easy. So just kind of make sure you're moving your PCI, get comfortable, loosen up your thumbs. You start up here, make sure you're starting here. Just this is where you're kind of getting ready to hit. So we're finding that release point. Like I said, for me, almost every pitcher, I stare at the shoulder. I have a bad problem of having wandering eyes, which is why I started doing this right here, was trying to eliminate that. The best way to do that was just practicing for about 5 minutes. Now we're going to swing the bat, obviously, but we're not going to be worried about timing. It's going to be all about PCI placement and making sure we're trying our best not to swing at anything out of the zone. And like I said, it's been a minute since I played, so that's good PCI placement. We're not worried about timing. Right down the dick. That's the best pitch in the game. I don't care what nobody says. I barely touched that button. Anyway, that's what we're saying, though. We want to make sure we're not ever swinging at nothing like that. And this is kind of how you train your eye to do that. I can't believe he threw that. Anyway, so we're just doing this for 5 minutes. See, like there. Most of the time you're going to swing at that pitch, you shouldn't. And that's what we're trying to train our eye to do. Make sure we're laying off of that. I want him to kind of throw something in the dirt to see if we lay off of it. That's the one thing about practice mode that sometimes gets a little tough. I know I'm late on that. See, the thing is, even though we're on All-Star, we did turn the pitch speeds up. So it feels more like Hall of Fame, closer to Legend. Which is why I don't think you need to be practicing on Legend. I don't think that, I know a lot of people say that, but I don't think that's a thing. Now we're going to start working on our timing mixed with the PCI placement. I'm late on a lot of things, but we're about to get that right. Find that release point. We made sure we laid off of that. That's a little easier to lay off of. Laid off that pitch. Beautiful. And then after you kind of like 5 to 7, I'd say 5 to 7 minutes of doing something like this, where we're trying to lay off that pitch right there. After that, we'll start getting specific with time and we'll start putting fastballs up here and kind of reacting to it. This isn't necessarily the best showcase. There we go. It's all about just figuring out where that ball is releasing from and finding a pitch that you like too as well. That's a huge tip. Why? That's a dot. I don't know why you're dotting me like this, but that's a big tip right there, man. Finding a zone that you're comfortable in, finding exactly where you're comfortable at. Now, the beauty of all this is PCI anchoring 22 is going to make this so much easier. If you struggle here, you can anchor there in 22. But for now, you want to practice getting to every part of the zone. Now, I know right now it's not looking like I'm a 330 lifetime hitter or a World Series player at that, but I promise I am, man. Like I said, I haven't touched this game in a month. I need to actually play a little bit more because of the new events, but life's hectic. There we go. There we go. That's the easiest pitch to hit in the game, though. That pitch right there is the easiest pitch to hit in the game. Okay, now that we started to kind of recognize specific pitches, You're going to want to go to practice type. This is where we're going to start working on our timing. So I want to see Gagne's fastball. We're going to start specifically doing high and in. I'm going to still react from middle, even though I know it's coming. So subconsciously, I'll probably get there on time. Hopefully, hopefully we're not late. No. And that's kind of what we're going to do is each zone. We're going to work here, 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 and here with the fastball just to get our timing right. See, we're still late. Finding that release point, I'm telling you, it's everything, man. Now watch this. I'm going to show y'all something. Y'all seen I've been late a little bit. It's because I can see my PCI at the corner of my eye. I don't like that. So I'm going to turn my transparency down. Personally, I'm going to go to diamonds. Once I start noticing I'm staring at my PCI a little bit too much, I change everything. I need to make it where I'm not staring at that. We're literally a bee's penis off of that being perfect, whatever that means. I don't want anything blocking me seeing the ball out of the pitcher's hand. I almost want to turn off my PCI in general. That's almost to the point where I want to get with it. I hate seeing my PCI. Getting earlier and earlier. Better PCI placement too, as you can see, because I'm not staring at it. I'm now allowing my mind and my thumbs to work together to move the PCI, and I'm timing it up. And you'll see, I'm telling you, as you start taking BP, more and more BP, you'll start noticing you're going to get better and better. Finding the right PCI is everything, man. But like I said, that's a whole different video. This video right here is just all about timing and recognizing pitches out of the hand, finding that release point. So now that we've got that spot, we're early on it. I feel comfortable there. We're going to go over here and start working away. Now, in this game, though, I mean, I guess it's a little weird. I start thinking from an actual mindset of real life where you want to take these away. You want to pull these and here, you want to get your barrel on it. But in this game right here, early is everything. Like, you see how that just flew out of here 108 because it was early. If I'm late on that or just late or late side of good, it probably doesn't leave. Like, I mean, you see, these are flying off the bat. Let's see if we can get late side of good right here. We're perfect. There we go. Late side of good. It's crazy, this game. The exit velo is a little lower on that. And then after that, we're going to move down and in. And this right here, you should only do for about a minute. I'm doing it a little bit longer, but you want to just go for about a minute for each of these spots. And what we don't want is that, where I'm jamming my PCI straight down. These right here, we want to turn on. Now, for some reason, if the servers are horrible, you'll be early and it'll yank foul. But 9 times out of 10, if you're early side of good, it's going to fly. All right, anyway. Next, after that, after you kind of get used to that timing there, you're going to go to the next zone, which is low and away. We'll probably just take 3 swings here. It's the same thing here. I kind of want to be closer to late side of good than I do early, especially on this low part of the zone, because you're going to yank it down the line almost every time if you're early. It's almost an auto out. Let's just try to get 1 late side of good or perfect. All right. We'll take that for now. I mean, that's good timing. So then what we're going to kind of do from here is we're going to mix in all the zones. And just keep working on this. Now we're going to go up to the next speed. We're going to go up to Hall of Fame. Now this is the last play. I will not practice on Legend. Do I play on Legend? Absolutely. But are you going to play on Legend right away? Probably not. Does it make much sense to practice on Legend and then go into a server that may not be the greatest? It's not going to feel the same at all. You don't want to utilize custom practices to try to catch up to the same speed you're about to face. More than anything, custom practices should always be used, in my opinion, to start recognizing pitches out of the hand, getting your hand-eye coordination right, matching up the PCI, your thumb, and your head together. I don't know how to word it. It's weird, but they should be working as one without you having to stare at it. That's the biggest thing. Timing's cool, but you'll get timing as you kind of play online. That's one of those things you kind of got to fill out. So now we're on Hall of Fame with the pitch speeds turned up. We got to speed up our bat just slightly, but really we just want to make sure we're maintaining our bat speed and our PCI and make sure we're not swinging at balls. Yo, Gagne's testing me, bro. He's staring me down with his goggles. I'm not feeling it. That's the hardest pitch to hit. I don't care what nobody says. You almost have to cheat on that. Like 102 right here is crazy. And after you kind of like, start to get the feel for that pitcher right there, then you want to switch it up. Dude, Chapman's release on the new game, 22, is so easy to pick up. This one's still kind of hard because of how slow it is. Wait, what? All right, and now we're having to pick up a whole new release point, and this is kind of us just putting it all together before we go into an actual game. See, I don't want to be swinging at that. Chapman gets me all riled up, and I get a little antsy, and I don't know, I start swinging at stupid shit. And that's kind of how I get in the game. But that's what you want to eliminate. That's what custom practice is for right there. We're timing up fastballs, going from All-Star to Hall of Fame like it's nothing. That's kind of how I feel about once you kind of see the ball a little bit better, you're going to time it up regardless. When you're not picking up the ball, that's when you're struggling. I think a lot of people's issue is it's not necessarily going from All-Star to Hall of Fame to Legend and the pitch speeds varying. I think the biggest difference is a lot of people just aren't picking up the ball out of the hand. And so regardless of speed, you're going to be late on whether it's 92, whether it's 99, or whether it's outlier. And that's why I think when you use custom practice, it don't matter whether you're on All-Star, Legend, Hall of Fame. It should just be spent trying to pick up this ball out of the hand. Timing is going to come from that. But at this point, I'll probably be ready to go into a game. So that's kind of the basis of this video right here. I will be coming out with another video coming out soon on the best PCI and why. And in that one, we'll kind of go over the cameras as well. I'll tie those into one video. But the biggest thing is I want y'all to utilize this last month to get better for 22. Now, 22 would be slightly different. The basis of it's going to be the same. The hitting system is going to be the same. It's all that's not going to change. I think you have to get it out of your head that, I need to practice on Legend speeds all the way up. Timing is going to come by seeing the ball. So the biggest tips I have: 1, timing matters more than PCI placement. 2, stop staring at your PCI. Find the ball out of the pitcher's hand. 3, utilize your custom practices a little bit better. Don't just come in here swinging at fastballs down the middle. Find a way to start utilizing real game practice. So first 5 minutes, get your eyes right, get your hand-eye coordination right. The last bit of it, work on your timing. Use practice. If you're going to use custom practice, which I suggest, utilize it the correct way. My word is not gospel, but this is what I did to get better. This is how I became a 7-time flawless player this year, and I barely played BR. This is how I became a consistent World Series player, and this is how I went from batting 270 lifetime for the first 3 months of the game, 4 months of the game, to batting 330 lifetime over the last 2-3 months. This is our first video in a while. Hopefully this isn't too long. I hope it isn't. I hope I got straight to the point. If I didn't, let me know down below what I could do better as a content creator. All we're trying to do is better ourselves in this channel for you going into 22. I love every single one of y'all. Hit that sub button, hit that like button. And of course, as always, peace, love, until next time.